The year 2025 has already unfolded as one of the most significant chapters in Jungkook's journey as both a global artist and cultural figure. After successfully securing the title of the most popular artist in America, his return from New York has not only cemented his growing influence in the United States, but also reignited a wave of recognition in his home country, Korea. What stands out most is how swiftly his presence at New York Fashion Week, specifically through Calvin Klein's high-profile event, translated into an unprecedented surge of attention from American media outlets. Just 2 days of participation was enough to captivate every major platform in the US, and that rare level of recognition is now mirrored by the immense appreciation he receives from fans and Korean media alike upon his return. This moment is not simply another checkpoint in his career. It is the reflection of a phenomenon where one artist's name has been able to dominate headlines in two of the world's most influential cultural hubs at once. To fully grasp why this event resonates so strongly, one must examine the combination of achievements Jungkook attained in America, the rapid media acknowledgement he secured there, and how Korea collectively responded upon his return. When Jungkook arrived in New York for the Calvin Klein event at NYFW 2025, expectations were already high. His role as a global ambassador for the brand had been strategically impactful over the past 2 years. But what unfolded across those 48 hours went beyond fashion. Every major American outlet, spanning from entertainment-focused platforms to mainstream newspapers, chose to highlight not only his appearance, but also his influence as a defining representative of international pop culture. Unlike many celebrity attendees who often require repeated appearances to build consistent media momentum, Jungkook managed to dominate headlines with remarkable efficiency. Within 2 days, he was featured across broadcast coverage, fashion editorials, lifestyle columns, and even discussions about global brand dynamics. This level of saturation is usually reserved for artists who have long-standing roots in the American entertainment industry. Jungkook, however, managed to achieve it through a combination of timing, relevance, and the undeniable pull of his global reputation. It is important to note that his recognition in America this time did not stem solely from his identity as a BTS member. Instead, the spotlight reflected his ability to stand as a singular figure, a performer, a fashion icon, and a cultural connector who seamlessly navigates the expectations of both Eastern and Western audiences. For an artist from Asia to be recognized in this manner is a milestone in itself, and for Jungkook, it marks a continuation of his journey towards shaping the narrative of what global pop artistry means in the 21st century. The moment Jungkook's flight landed at Incheon International Airport, the atmosphere quickly shifted into one of collective celebration. Fans filled the arrival hall, media outlets gathered in full force, and coverage across television and digital platforms framed his return as an event worth marking in national headlines. What made this reception different from previous ones is the specific context of his American triumph. Korea has always been proud of its artists who gain recognition abroad. But the scale of Jungkook's achievement being named the most popular artist in the United States resonated in a manner that positioned him as a symbol of national pride. This pride was not expressed through ceremonial acknowledgements alone. Instead, Korean outlets, from news programs to entertainment pages, openly offered congratulations, almost as if reflecting the collective voice of the public. The wave of appreciation extended beyond the immediate sphere of fandom. Political figures, cultural commentators, and fashion experts also weighed in, emphasizing how Jungkook's accomplishments serve as both cultural diplomacy and an extension of Korea's growing global influence. In that sense, His return was not just about an artist coming home, it became a reflection of how an individual's success abroad can symbolize the aspirations of an entire nation. One of the defining elements of Jungkook's current position is the rare convergence of media recognition from both America and Korea. While many artists achieve domestic popularity, and a few manage to break into international markets, the speed and magnitude of Jungkook's acknowledgement across two major media landscapes is extraordinary. In America, he stood shoulder to shoulder with globally recognized figures within fashion and music industries, yet the spotlight tilted toward him in ways that surprised even seasoned industry observers. Back in Korea, that recognition was mirrored and amplified, not only because of his global success, but because of the manner in which he secured it with minimal time, maximum impact, and the ability to transcend traditional boundaries of music, fashion, and entertainment. This convergence carries implications for the future of global entertainment. It suggests that the nature of cultural recognition has shifted. No longer is an artist's influence confined to the market they primarily operate in. With Jungkook's case, influence radiates across borders simultaneously, creating a loop of acknowledgement where one market validates the other. Korea celebrates his US triumph, while American outlets, aware of his Korean dominance, see even more reason to spotlight him. This cycle continues to expand his reach. While media acknowledgement has been one of the most visible aspects of this return, the undeniable force behind the celebration remains his fans. In Korea, thousands of them gathered, their presence transforming the airport into a scene of collective admiration. They carried banners, cameras, and their voices all directed toward acknowledging the scale of his achievement abroad. The fans' response is also reflective of the deep bond between Jungkook and his audience. Their recognition extends beyond the superficial act of supporting a celebrity. It is tied to a sense of shared pride. Every headline in America that praised him was experienced by Korean fans as a validation of their years of support. Every image from the Calvin Klein runway or press appearance was circulated within fan communities, amplifying the global discourse. By the time Jungkook returned to Korea, the stage had already been set for a moment of unified celebration, and the fans made sure that moment did not go unnoticed. To contextualize Jungkook's achievement within a broader historical framework, one must consider how rarely an artist manages to dominate two major cultural markets within such a condensed time frame. In past decades, artists from non-Western markets often required years of sustained effort to establish themselves in the United States. Jungkook, by contrast, secured mainstream American media coverage within just 2 days of participation in NYFW, while simultaneously reinforcing his dominance in Korea. This sets a precedent. It demonstrates that the definition of a global artist has evolved. In 2025, global influence is not merely about releasing English-language albums or collaborating with Western producers. It is about embodying a presence that transcends boundaries, commanding attention in spaces as diverse as fashion shows, entertainment programs, and national headlines. Jungkook's trajectory aligns with this shift, placing him at the forefront of how cultural icons are shaped and recognized in the modern era. Moreover, the timing of this achievement cannot be overlooked. In a year where competition in the entertainment industry is intense, with countless artists vying for global recognition, Jungkook's ability to stand out reflects not only his talent, but also his adaptability. His role with Calvin Klein gave him an entry point into the American fashion and media industries, but it was his personal aura and cultural significance that transformed that entry into widespread recognition. This directness also served another purpose. It amplified the legitimacy of his achievement. For fans who had followed his career closely, hearing media outlets publicly affirm their admiration reinforced the notion that Jungkook's success was not just personal but institutionalized within Korea's cultural landscape. Beyond congratulatory tones, Korean outlets went a step further by contextualizing Jungkook's recognition within a global framework. Commentators pointed out that his ability to command attention in America was not an isolated accomplishment, but part of a broader shift in cultural power dynamics. They emphasized that Jungkook embodies a new model of what it means to be a global artist. Versatility. His identity spans across music, fashion, and cultural representation, allowing him to connect with audiences from different industries simultaneously. Transcendence of boundaries. Unlike many international artists who localize themselves to one market, Jungkook maintains authenticity as a Korean artist while being universally accepted. Symbol of national pride, his presence in American media indirectly elevates Korea's global image, situating the country at the forefront of cultural discussions. By framing Jungkook in this manner, the media transformed his success into symbolism. He was no longer just an individual artist, but a representative of a generation that has redefined the possibilities of international influence. This symbolic positioning matters because it ensures his recognition is not momentary. Instead, it becomes part of a long-term cultural narrative that ties his name to Korea's global rise. Another element that strengthened Jungkook's recognition was the interaction between fans and media coverage. As soon as Korean outlets published their stories, fans amplified them across social platforms. This created a cycle of visibility where media acknowledgement validated fan pride, and fan amplification, in turn, pushed the media narratives to trend globally. For example, clips of Jungkook's airport arrival, originally broadcast on Korean television, quickly spread across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, gathering millions of views within hours. International fans, who had followed his New York journey, now engaged directly with Korean media content, creating a unified global discourse. This interaction highlights how the boundaries between traditional media and fandom culture are increasingly blurred. Media coverage is no longer confined to local audiences. With fans acting as distributors, it gains global reach. In Jungkook's case, this synergy magnified his recognition, ensuring that the story of his return was not only a domestic event, but also an international moment of visibility. The Korean entertainment industry has long sought to establish a stronger presence in the American market. While BTS as a group made significant strides, Jungkook's individual recognition marks a pivotal evolution in this journey. Industry analysts within Korea were quick to point out that his success has implications beyond personal milestones. For K-pop, as a genre, Jungkook's recognition demonstrates that the genre is no longer confined to group performances or niche fan bases. Individual K-pop artists can now stand alongside global pop stars in their own right. For Korean brands, his impact at the Calvin Klein event underlines the potential of Korean artists as fashion and cultural ambassadors. Brands may increasingly look to Korean figures to drive international visibility. For future artists, Jungkook sets a precedent for younger Korean artists. His path illustrates that global recognition can be achieved not only through music charts, but also by integrating into broader cultural conversations. This industry-wide reflection further explains why Korean media dedicated such extensive coverage to his return. It was not only about Jungkook, it was about what his success symbolizes for the future of Korea's cultural exports. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this moment is how American and Korean media created a dialogue through their coverage. In America, Jungkook was portrayed as a fashion icon and a pop culture force who captured the essence of modern global artistry. In Korea, that recognition was reframed as evidence of national pride and cultural advancement. This dialogue reveals the shifting nature of cultural influence. No longer is recognition a one-directional process where artists seek validation from Western media. Instead, it is a reciprocal exchange, where acknowledgement in America amplifies pride in Korea, and Korea's embrace reinforces the significance of American coverage. In this way, Jungkook stands as a cultural mirror, reflecting how both nations perceive and validate each other's role in shaping global entertainment. His return to Korea became the symbolic intersection of these dialogues, a moment where international recognition and domestic pride converged seamlessly.